Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Planet Zoo. All week long I will be playing this game. I'll be throwing in a few other little bits and pieces in between. But we are really going to be focusing on this career mode on Planet Zoo. And on the last one we had unlocked two new ones. We have the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park and we still have another tutorial of the Madagascar Samian Conservative Project, the Apprenticeship. Funny old name. So look, I think we're going to carry on with the tutorial and we will start this one. We'll see how this one goes. Now I do want to start thinking about doing my own sandbox mode as well. Once we kind of get a little bit through this, we'll unlock some more bits and pieces. The plan is to actually create our own park. In the meantime, we'll play through this career mode as far as we can until you guys kind of get bored of it. I'm still sorry that I'm coughing. I've still got a little bit of the flu. Hasn't quite passed me yet. It's been a few weeks, but we are getting there. So here we go. Here's our new park. What have we got? I assume it's to do a lot with monkeys. It's pretty cool, isn't it? The visuals.
Welcome to Madagascar. It's quite the change of scenery from dreary old England, huh? Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing. The zoo you'll be working in is an ape sanctuary, where we're doing vitally important conservation work. Not just for apes, but for all kinds of
cool.
species. But apes...
Wish when I built these things in Sandbox mode, you notice that mine looks nothing like these.
And yet, the way the world treats them is like, well, very much like some of us treat our actual relatives. Anyway, that's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living. And speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in the right one. When I get back, my life won't be worth living at all.
Good old Bernie Goodwin.
What do you think of Madagascar then?
Oh, Nancy Jones is here with me again as well.
To be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's primate sanctuary.
That answered my question.
We've got all
Bernie's.
sorts of animals. So why don't we go and have a look at some of them, eh? We'll start by taking a look at the red-ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
Right, so off we go. So we've got to explore the zoo.
Red-ruffed lemurs are found in the rainforests of Massaoala. That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
Okay, that's a nice easy one. Let's go find the orangutans. Here they are.
The Bornean orangutan is such a marvellous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo they feature in, and they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet. Assuming you don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera.
Want the monkey. There we go. Look at him or her.
Aren't they just incredible?
He's gonna fall off.
When
Oh!
you're ready, let's go and have a look-see at some of our beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
Oh, wrong button. Okay, so apparently there is somebody else for us to look at. Over here.
Oh dear! It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed. And wouldn't you know it, one of the bonobos has made a run for it. We'll need to catch them. But before we do, we should box up the other bonobos to stop them escaping too. Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel. Good. Now open the Animals tab. And click on Box All Animals to box up the remaining bonobos.
Okay.
Now, we'll need a vet to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement sharpish. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area. You can find all of your staff in here, but there's no time to go looking at their particulars at the moment. Hire a vet. Great, now let's deal with our escapee before they can cause too much havoc. Use the animal alerts to jump to the escaped bonobo. And then click on the call vet button to call the vet over to capture it.
No one's even bothered.
Okay, that's a relief.
Oh.
So while the vet deals with our bonobo friend, let's go fix up their habitat so they can't escape again. Head back over there. As you can see, the barrier's collapsed. Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously. Let's get this one replaced. Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one.
Well, that's fine, but it won't let me click on the broken barrier. Okay, so this is going well. So we're just firing another piece of the barrier, I believe. Can we do that?
Good. Now that we've done that, we need
There's
to make
nothing
sure
to
to
delete.
add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that.
Okay, so
Okay, so go into the options section and select which side the climb-proof barrier needs to go on. And don't get it wrong. We're more worried about bonobos climbing out than guests climbing in.
right, that made no sense. So we want that, and we want climb-proof
Nicely
complex.
done.
There we go.
And I think it's high time we unbox those bonobos, wouldn't you say? The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring up the habitat information panel again. And then open the animals tab. And finally, click on unbox all animals to let them out. I expect some of them are fair bursting for the toilet. So, it turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts. You see, mechanics do all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs is taking care of the habitat barriers. Without mechanics around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble and fall down. And before you know it, we'll be overrun with escaped animals.
Okay, Nancy,
Go
lots
into
of
the
talking.
zoo section and then into the staff management area again.
There we go.
Gosh, we have been busy, haven't we? Good work there. I'm off for a cuppa. Oh, I think Bernie wants a word with you.
Oh, I hear you had a bit of an issue with an escaped bonobo. The main thing is that you dealt with it swiftly, and more importantly, without the animal stealing someone's clothes, putting them on, and then walking out of the front gate.
You see, another key responsibility for our vets is animal research. Researching animals allows vets to unlock new enrichment items, additional information for our education resources, enhanced breeding programs, and improvements to food quality. Oh, the animal's food, not the vets.
Kind of wish it wasn't so much talking. I know it's a tutorial, but
staff canteen. Anyway, as you can see, research is a key part of running your zoo.
we'd like to get on with
In
building.
order for a vet to undertake research, they require a research centre. And once again, that's something that this zoo is missing. So let's build one. I've marked out an area for you to put it. Now, you've probably noticed that there's already a building where I want you to build the research centre. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell. So we're able to place our new building inside of it. If you select the research centre for placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research centre to the existing building. Okay, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research centre so it automatically connects to the path when we place it.
That's fine, but we need to find the research centre. I want to go in. Oh. Why are you obstructed? Doesn't make any sense. This is the right thing, isn't it? Research center small. Right, why is that so bloody hard?
Right, splendid work. Now that we have a brand spanking new research centre, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs. That said, you can change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about that just now. So, let's get our vet researching ring-tailed lemurs. Go into the zoo section and select Vet Research. Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research.
There we go.
Actually,
Easy as that.
I'm not sure we've got any education boards or speakers by the lemur's habitat. Let's head over there and add some, so our guests can learn all about the furry little delights.
We can do that for you.
First off, let's pop down 2 education boards. Place them on the habitat barriers at a height that guests can see, or, if you like, pop them down on a stand.
Okay, so facilities. You would think. Turn on the line to surface.
Okay, now that they've been put into position, we have to tell them what animal to display information about. select one of the education boards to bring up its information panel. And from the drop-down list, select ring-tailed lemur. Although I'm sure that last part was obvious.
This is pretty
When
cool.
you link an education board or a speaker to an animal, you need to make sure that said animal is close by. If it isn't, the guests will get confused and won't learn as much. Okay, now that we've done the education boards, let's pop down a pair of speakers. Speakers play audio to the guests so they can learn while they look at the animals, instead of having to go through the laborious process of reading. Oh, one thing to bear in mind is that it's important not to put the speakers too close together. If you do, the guests won't be able to understand what's being said.
They sound two speakers for ring-tailed. Right, so that's them.
Now we simply need to link the speakers to the ring-tailed lemurs, just like you did with the education boards.
Ah, this is well cool.
Fantastic! Oh, it's worth remembering that education boards and speakers both need power to work. They won't do much good without it. Oh, it looks as though our vet has completed their research on ring-tailed lemurs. We'll need to collect the results. We can do that by clicking on the notification or by going back into the vet research area.
Check the research management screen. I'm doing it. And
Go on, collect your research rewards. Just so you know, vets will continue to research an animal even after successfully completing a research level. I suppose when you're in the zone, you're in the zone.
right.
Well, now that we've enriched the lives of our guests, let's enrich the lives of our ring-tailed lemurs. Some animals, like lemurs, will have a climbing need. That means they have a requirement for a certain amount of climbing space, and you can fulfill that requirement by building them a climbing frame. Let's find out how much more climbing space our lemur friends need, shall we? Select one of them and bring up their information panel.
Okay, sorry, there was an orangutan still stuck. What do you want to do? Click on one, is it?
Next, click on the Terrain tab. Ah, now, as you can see, the lemurs need quite a lot more climbing space. But as it happens, I've already got a climbing frame blueprint built for you. So you can either pop that down or build one yourself from scratch. By the way, it's not always just climbing needs that you have to worry about. Other animals might need a certain amount of water in their habitat so they can go for a swim. They certainly do keep us on our toes.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, that's a great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know what would make them even happier, though? Nicer food. But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it? You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on. Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat.
Come on, you guys. Replay a dive. I didn't.
Oh, that's a great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know what would make them even happier, though? Nicer food. But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it? You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on. Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat. Lovely. Now
Okay,
select
so they want the grade
Animals
2.
tab. So, a new climbing frame and better food. Oh, you've really spoilt those lemurs rotten. Now, I think it's time we looked at one of the zoo's most important responsibilities. Releasing animals into the wild.
Oh, wow.
You see, when we feel an animal is ready, we can release them into the wild. But what makes an animal a good candidate for release? Well, their age is an important factor. I mean, we can't release an animal that's a juvenile, just as we can't release one that's gotten too old. They'll also need to be fertile. After all, the idea is to repopulate the wild, so the best candidates will have a high fertility gene. And together, the age and fertility of a candidate will determine how many conservation credits will be rewarded when we release them. Now, conservation credits are vitally important. They're the lifeblood of your zoo, because earning them allows you to adopt even more animals. And what's more, the animals you can adopt will be of a higher quality. So, with that in mind, let's pop over to our orangutan habitat.
I'm here.
I'd like you to find Agang, the Bornean orangutan in the habitat, and select him, please. You can either click through each orangutan in turn, or select the habitat barrier, go to the animals tab in the habitat information panel, and find him in the animals list.
Okay, you're going into the wild. Okay.
I know it's sad to see him go, but he'll be happy out in the wild. And he's a wonderful candidate for release. Young, strong, and
Got a Steam
fertile.
achievement there.
Excellent work there. You've definitely got potential, you know.
Okay, so look, that's where I think I'll leave this episode. I think we're done in this little park here. Oh, Bernie wants to talk again, of course.
It hardly seems like work when you're learning about something as adorable as a ring-tailed lemur. I imagine I'd have got much better grades at school if there'd been less algebra and more aldebra. Tortoises.
Okay, Bernie. Oh, for God's sake.
So far, we've done a lot of work with habitat animals, but now it's time to learn all about exhibit animals. Let's build a brand new exhibit.
Yes.
I've marked an area for our new exhibit. How about we head over there?
Okay, now I think they're all finished talking finally. What we're going to do, we're going to end the episode here. We've pretty much halfway done this. We've unlocked some more to move forward. I think what we'll do, we'll try the next one down on the career mode. I'm not sure which one it is yet. We'll have a look on the start of the next episode. I think we're getting the gist of the game now. Hopefully I'll be able to do a bit more talking, a little bit more planning once we kind of get more into the career mode. At the moment, because of all the learning, they are talking quite a lot. Hopefully that will slow down, and we'll discuss a little bit more. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe down below to the channel. Hit that bell icon for notifications. I upload nearly every single day. All this week I will be doing episodes on Tycoon, Planet Zoo. And yeah, other than that, for myself, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.